Grand Marais, Minnesota. Judge C.R. Magney State Park. Yeah, it's a nice sunny day out. Well, just actually, the sun just came out, actually. Looks like it rained here earlier. This is Judge C.R. Magney State Park, located in Grand Marais, Minnesota. The far northeastern tip. This will be my final camp trip at all the state parks on the North Shore. And I did do a scout of this campground several weeks ago. I haven't edited that yet as of the date of this body cam, but I'm going to get to that. So you can check that out if you're interested. And I'm also going to do a video of the trip into here, the drive, do a time lapse from St. Paul to this state park, that route. This is interesting. And they have this all over. We'll see it as we go through parts of this campground to get to the trail. We'll see it everywhere, well, a lot of places. About a couple months ago, Stinkleberry Farmer did a camp here. He did some hiking and he saw a bear right on 61 down there. So I'm thinking it might be the same bear. He also did a hike here, and he went down towards the Devil's Kettle, I think it is, the falls. Well, we're gonna go in the back area. We're gonna take a look at that. You got that bear sign posted on a lot of these camp posts. There too. I don't think it's a bluff. I first seen that sign on the campground host site and they're not here. So I was thinking, maybe they put that up to try to make people clean up after themselves. But they mean business. It's posted in a lot of spots around here. Here's lap number 4 for the NPC. That guy's real interested in me too. He's always looking at me. So okay, so here is a map of the state park, and I'll probably drop in some graphics here, but I like the real life ones. It's kind of cool. We're right here in the campground, and then if you zoom out, we're right here. So my planned hike today is going up here, around in here, checking out this little loop up here, coming around back, and then working on backtracking here and coming down here again, and maybe checking out this loop on the way back if it's not too dark. We got about 3 hours of light left. And Stinkleberry Farmer, when he was here, he went around this way, which is an awesome epic hike. I guess it's one of the top rated hikes in the state or something like that. But he did that. I checked out. I recommend you check out his video of this state park, Stinkleberry Farmer. Check out that hike, it's awesome. But yeah, we're gonna go this way around here, and he mentioned this in his video too, so we're gonna go take a look at it. Just gonna double check my cam real quick. Looks good. Just making sure it's running, making sure I didn't accidentally trigger the infrared. It's pretty easy to do on these body cams, and it doesn't function well either. It has problems with it, and Cam Pro probably knows that, and they still sell it. No, I don't actually see myself on here, and I haven't had signal here for about 15 miles on the way in here. So we're probably going to actually, this will be one of the first times that this functionality isn't going to work for me on here. Oh, there we go, it just popped up. Good old Avenza maps. Wow, this app is just so reliable. I just love it. That's impressive. So put red in the shed, that means go this way. There's another loop this way, which I mentioned earlier we might check out on the way back. And the picnic area, or the parking area I mean, is over there. It might be a picnic area. Yeah, picnic area too, and parking. A lot of people might park there to go check out the falls. So yeah, we might check this out on the way back. Alright, I'll put a bow on it now. Trying to hunker everything down in my pockets that might make an annoying tap sound. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't put that base layer on. I'm already getting warm. I guess the sun out too, it helps with that. It's an interesting place to put, I guess they're called curb stops. The cement thing that your vehicle pulls up to in the campsites. Yeah, why not put some there too? That's odd. I'll just take this opportunity to give a special shout out to Dan Shep 42. Thanks for taking a look. Thanks for chiming in. Really appreciate it. I'm curious to know if you're the same Dan Shep that I grew up with on 42. And since 42 is the answer to everything, I'd say that's relatively probable. Either way, if you are or you aren't, I hope you're doing well. along nicely. This camp trip tonight, I'm not going to document it because I'm right next to people, as I mentioned. So it'd just be mutually weird for either of us to run our mouths more than needed. Kind of like that girl did at my last camp trip last weekend at Great River Bluff State Park until 2:30 in the morning. That's a small campground, so I was probably in the same basket with at least 10 other people. But this is going to be roughly my 130th camp trip since April 1st, 2022. That was kind of my April Fool's Day joke on life for trying to torment me and cripple me with depression and apathy. I slapped it in its face. So it puts up a formidable battle every day, sometimes minute by minute. But I keep ducking, dodging, and slapping. Oh. I do predict relatively low traffic on this trail, which is a complete dichotomy compared to the other trail. And after my camp tonight, I'm gonna try to get up around 9 a.m. and I have a plan to go to Grand Portage State Forest, which I'm kind of already in, and I'm going to scout 3 campgrounds there. I'm looking forward to that. They're relatively small. One's got like 3 sites, one's got 3, one's got like 5. They're really small and relatively close to each other. So all in all, with the traveling and the boots on the ground, maybe an hour, hour and a half, without rushing it. Probably 2 hours. I exit this park by 9:30 a.m. in the morning. And there is some peaceful protests scheduled for tomorrow, peppered throughout the state by a group of knuckleheads who benefit from it, which is true for a lot of corruption. Few people flourish while the majority suffer, even if 90% of the majority don't realize it, that they're being pawns in that game. But yeah, tomorrow there is one scheduled in Grand Portage, which is, the downtown is like 10 miles south of here. So I'll probably be traveling through that area around that time. And the cell signal service isn't great around here. I don't want to harp on that too much, but just a little fun little update. Current culture and sign of the times. And my floaters are getting worse too, so I'm pretty stoked about that. And these are a little more serious than just floaters. They're like strings that cast a wide reach and affect. They blur and skew things. So I'm always thinking I'm seeing something. I always think I got, like, you know, when you wake up to sleep, it can be in your eye. I'm thinking I got that in there sometimes, and thinking I see bugs. In my apartment, I'll think I'll see like a centipede on the wall at the corner of my eye. Nope, just the floaters. So that should toughen me up a little bit. I noticed my first one back in like 2014, and I thought it was just a piece of lint in my eye. It was weird because it would never go away. Then I found out, oh, it's inside of my eye. That's cute. That's a cute one, God. Thank you. And the surgery for that is it's relatively dangerous. And there's a chance they can loosen more when they take them out, so kind of just SOL. So I got a visitor approaching on my 6. So I'm gonna put a button on it. Getting like a weird soury sweet smell all of a sudden out around here. I'm not a botanist, so I'm not sure what plants it's coming from. Well, there's an incline here. Real calm out here. Superior hiking trail is this way. That one goes like outside of the park. Oh, it's pretty. It's like one of them state trails. And here you got the courtesy bench after the incline or the stairways sometimes. We're at that magical time of fall. So it'll last probably a week or so. It's gonna feel like we're at the outlet mall here in a little bit. Ooh. Hey.
But some people are just, you know, easier about it.
Got a little bit more of an incline here. Alright, reasonable mud here. You never want to underestimate mud. It has a really unique suctioning ability to hold on to your boot or your croc or sandal or high heel or whatever you got when you're out here. Speaking of which, high heels, I'm editing my hike at Interstate State Park at this current date and time. I should be done with it in a day or two. And when I started my hike, there was a sign that said no strollers, and there was like a stroller crossed out. I thought that was just hysterical, because you know, like, many people tried bringing their baby in a stroller, and it's just, if you check out that video, you check out the hike there, there's no way you're getting in pretty much anything with wheels on that thing. Alright, so we got to this point quicker than I thought we would. So the plan is, so we keep going straight. This is actually Superior hiking trail here. But it runs parallel with one of these other trails in this kind of a loop here we're going to go on. So we keep going straight this way, and there'll be another break. And I think we're going to, it doesn't matter which way we go. as long as we go the opposite way on our way back, so we can see both sides. So I'm gonna keep to the right, because the left lane's for crime. There's a guy in a heavy metal band, even though he has a really high-pitched singing voice when he sings, he likes to make that statement often. All right, we got a water crossing. Okay, so this is kind of serious. Now, I can't get my boots wet, because if I do, I'm kind of screwed. I do have another pair, but they're several sizes smaller, and I just don't want to bust them out. So these are seam gripped. So we're just gonna skedaddle along here and try to find a spot. That's a tough one. Okay. Okay. I'm really glad I didn't have a rucksack on that one. Not too bad. All right, we're gonna meet back up here. We're gonna come out this way. We're gonna go down this way now. Oh. I do have backup socks and everything, but they'd just be inconvenient. Have to deal with it. Wah wah. It's probably gonna get a little chilly tonight too. Maybe the lower 40s, possibly the upper 30s. I want to avoid being wet and having wet clothing and footwear. I'm going to scout these state forest campgrounds tomorrow. There's an Esther Lake campground, a Devilfish Lake campground, and a McFarland Lake campground. Take a look at my trip prep for that. Esther Lake Campground, Devilfish Lake Campground. Yeah. So I'm going to start off with Esther Lake Campground. Then a little further out from that is Devilfish Lake Campground. Then we backtrack out of where we went in to get to those. Head north to McFarland Lake Campground. So we'll leave the state park here, head north, take a left up here, check out this campsite or campground, and then check out this campground, and then from there go further north, check out that one. I'm getting really close to Canada too. I'll take the tone out of the end of that word when they take the tone out of their voices. Maybe it's just the smug degenerates that are running things. It's not the people. I should lighten up. I definitely don't want to accidentally stumble into Canada though. It'd be kind of like stumbling into Wisconsin for me. Wisconsin's like an American Canada to me right now. The thing with Wisconsin is if you get pulled over or something and you can't pay for it, they take you to jail. The problem I have with that as a Minnesotan is on a daily basis I have to meander around all these Wisconsin license plates who are breaking our laws, speeding or going too slow or just being plain ignorant. So I think Minnesotans, to accommodate that fact, should get a pass. They should be allowed to mail in their payment. Stuff like that is probably why Wisconsinites are constantly leaving the state and going to Minnesota. It's kind of similar over on the western part of the state with the Dakotans. I camp over there, I see their plates all over the place, more than Minnesota plates. I'm just not really a social guy, so when there's more people just coming in from other places, it just irritates me. And those are all beautiful states. I had some pretty strong coffee before I, on the way up here, so I'm kind of manic and pumped. I just really tempted to just run my mouth as much as that girl did last weekend when I was trying to sleep along with 10 other people. But yeah, we're at Judge C.R. Magney State Park. I'm not sure who the judge was, but given some of the literature and the other state parks and the interpretive signs, and I don't know, just the way the state is, I've given a 95% chance there's some kind of extraordinarily powerful progressive. So I don't know. I just figured you name like a really busy overpopulated city with somebody's name like that, rather than a beautiful open state park. But again, I have no idea who this judge was. And I shouldn't judge the judge. Gotta cuff my boot again. Really gotta stay on that, otherwise rocks will pop in. And once I got on top of that, it stopped rocks from getting in my boot and dirt, sticks. Things got a lot better from a hiking perspective. So my list of things that irritate me while hiking is really dwindled down through iterative improvements and experience. I'm kind of just down to the things I can't really do nothing about. So if we do encounter a bear, there's a 100% chance it'll be a black bear. And those are the safest, tamest bears in the whole wide world that I'm aware of. I don't know if koala bears are vicious or if they're even really a bear. I do got some protection. I got 3 levels of protection, so I'm not worried at all. I don't eat meat, so I don't. They can probably smell meat in people's blood from the meat people consume, given how potent their noses are. So they're not going to be smelling that on me. Whew. I know some of the things I say are really ignorant. Just smile, okay? It's not that hard. Just smile. Whew. So far, I really like this trail. It's real tame. It's almost a road width, but it's not, so it passes for me of it not being a road trail, which I don't like those that much. But it's still not a trail. It's usually just like a path. But we got some fencing going on here. Probably just to protect the sensitive areas. And we even got a doorway. So this might be some kind of scientific natural area or something. Doesn't say on the map. Ooh, but right when we get to the tip up here, we're gonna be right next to this square of private property. If you ever look at state park maps, just kind of watch for that. How there's just like these oddly placed pieces of property, private property, like right in the middle of everything. It's like a gerrymandered district. Sometimes that one's just a perfect square. Well, it's probably a tesseract in reality. So there's a guy in Jurassic Park, the first movie, where he's kind of running everything. He had the cane with the little, with the sap that frozen in that insect or whatever. I picture somebody who kind of looks like that. Probably that's who goes in these places. So when we come back here, we're gonna go this way instead. We're gonna stay to the far right whenever we have a chance. Unless going back here we're super tempted, we might take a far left, which is taboo. So let's go up here, check it out. Oh. That might sound a little bitter and a little weird, but I literally don't hang out with friends. I'm pretty solo in real life, and I don't live with anybody, and I don't really talk to my family often. So I am a loner, and just being separated from social groups kind of as a whole, just kind of see things without being affected by the social group I'm a part of. No, it's just, if you're not part of a social group, I don't know, at least for me, I'm just kind of gonna have kind of a bitter outlook on things. Or maybe I'll evolve out of it. That's kind of why I separated myself from social groups. I just kind of want to see who I really am, and after I removed the veil, I was kind of horrified. So I'm trying to mold that. Oh wow. So I did hear that, the sounds of that river hiking up here. Trying to determine what river that is. Oh, the Brule River. The fabled Brule. That's it. A little bit better quality here. There's a song by a group called Ultimate Spinach. I think they're from the 60s, called Mind Flower. And in that song, there's a part where he goes, "You are cleansed. You are cleansed." That's what I could just kind of felt like looking at that. Really smell them fall leaves. It's like the wet kind leaves. The wet kind after it rains. That fall rainstorm. I'm pretty sure it rained here today. There's a little bit of rain on the way in from St. Paul up to here. So 35 north to 61. Now, one of the easiest routes you could ever take is from the cities, 35 north to 61. And you'll pass like 10 state parks on your way. On the way here, it was just kind of like, after all the progress I made, checking them all out and camping at them, and it's kind of neat to drive past the ones, all of them. After this one, I have, I think it's just 5 left to camp at. I think I coined them the final 5. It's Franz Hevne State Park, Zippel Bay State Park, Old Mill State Park, Hayes Lake State Park, and Lake Bronson, which I'm saving for dead last. Lake Bronson. I'm gonna try to polish that off early in 2026 when they reopen those campgrounds. I wasn't expecting this little break right here, but this might be the loop around actually. So we'll keep to the right. But it's good to be right. Ask any know-it-all, they'll tell you it's good to be right. The fence fell down here a little bit. Maybe that was a bear. If I was in bear country where there was going to be brown bears or grizzly bears, I'd ensure that I had a 10mm on me with like backup magazines ready to go. The 10mm seems to be the way to go for the grizzly, and for ease of use and concealment and hiking purposes. Wow. You don't want to shoot a bear, but I'm pretty sure I'd shoot a bear before I got eaten alive by it, if I had a choice. Although you'd probably be eaten alive by the authorities afterwards. Which I still think, even years of jail time and financial woes from the courts and representation, I still think that would probably be a better option than being eaten alive by a bear. Though that would go quicker. Oh, that's a tough choice. You really don't want to have to make one of those choices in life. This is not a very traveled path. This is less traveled than I was expecting. People just run right for them falls. This hike is kind of a great analogy for like kind of how I look at things compared to other people, I guess. Not that I'm super special, but like I would choose this path rather than the other one. Like 90%, 95% will choose the other one. So I feel like I'm always at odds. Like in society, would just choices. Like I'll try to get out of the way of someone and they'll get in my way, and then I'll get out of their way and then they'll get back in my way. It's like I'm always out of sync. It's really, really painfully stressful. Even when I plan ahead and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get this right. Nope. There was one time where we were like trying to dodge each other. We were walking across each other and we were trying to dodge each other, and we were just like perfectly swaying back and forth like it was a choreographed dance. It was pure insanity. Here we go. Notice you are leaving state property right there. This is probably that private property area. Yeah. So only God knows who lives there. I always think it's weird and suspect, those gerrymandered pieces of private property peppered throughout state parks. Really weird. I don't like it. I mean, what happened? Like, no, we're not selling. We're not gonna sell. They're like, well, we'll just build the park around you then. You see that so often. It's so funny. I'm sure some know-it-all knows why, and they'll have a smug look on their face and roll their eyes. Ugh. Good for you. Good for you. You're so smart. Good for you. Help the world. You know, my rhetoric does help keep bears away. So that's the first line of defense. Ooh, yeah. It's just gotta be precious resources in here. Sensitive area. Yeah, I don't think there's any backpack sites at this state park. I was kind of hoping I can get a little signal over here because I wanted one last weather update. Yeah, I don't see any. Just one campground here, and all the sites are pretty close to each other. Site 20, I believe, has to be next 21, unfortunately. Otherwise, site 20 or 21, if the other one wasn't there, those would be the most private sites. Although 20 is right on the road. See, even though I like 20 the way it looked, you can almost nick 20 and keep 21, and that'd be the perfect most private site in the campground. So this is the Superior hiking trail, it looks like. And I hope those signs don't say private property. That happened to me a few times, so I found myself on the other side of the private property. And I'm like, oh my God, how can, oh my God, why? Like, I tried so hard to make sure I didn't do it. No, it's not the Superior hiking trail. So only God knows what that is. I'm not going to go across to read it either. Step on a bear trap and the hills have eyes, people come running out. And alright, nobody laugh or make any sick jokes with what we see in front of us, or I will think less of you. You know, these things, these things right here, I heard a rumor that if you're like into whittling and woodwork, these have some of the coolest wood designs inside of them. And they make for really cool whatever you're gonna whittle. The problem is that it destroys the tree. We'll see if this bad boy can identify it. So that was a red squirrel, and this app did not identify what this hump is, even though this is a part of the pine family. Probably a spruce. I love red squirrels. They're the cutest squirrels, but they are the most insane. And I heard that they're difficult to tame as well. I really like what I call bear squirrels, which are very rare, but I've seen them in my neighborhood a couple times. I had a little squirrel, I called him Buddy the bear squirrel. and he was like a black and brown mixture. But I have seen the black squirrels recently, and it's been a while since I've seen some the albino or the white squirrels. I think the white squirrels are insane too. And then you got the classic eastern gray squirrel, which is the most common. And there's flying squirrels too, I guess, but I haven't really seen any of those. I'm not sure what they look like. I could look one up, but I don't feel like it. Yeah, just there I thought I saw something move and it was just a big floater in my eye. It's like if you got like black hair and you pluck a piece of your black hair out, it's like this long, and you put it in my eye. Happy birthday. I'm not even 50 yet, man. Whew. I'm kind of thinking I might not make it through my 60s, you know, which would kind of be good in a way. I'm not gonna be able to retire, so I'm just gonna slowly wither away, not be able to see and not be able to work, and look like one of them homeless guys in China. That's kind of one of the reasons why I started trying to camp and get better at being outdoors, so I could deal with that a little bit better, rather than just being a city boy just totally screwed. You have a little bit of skill, a little bit of experience. The Maha mantra is summoned. I kind of wish I knew what was causing the floaters, but I have so many thoughts on what it might be. It would just be a big ordeal to try to change my lifestyle, and it would still take 1 to 2 decades to vet through all the possibilities, and by then, so it's just basically I'm running out of time. That's what it's coming down to. The clock's ticking. And we're back. And hopefully when I die, that this doesn't happen. I don't come right back. Hopefully I go somewhere better. You know, this is a nice place. Be a lot nicer without floaters though. All right. So we saw the Brule River, a very nice angle of the Brule River on this hike. And we're not totally done yet. We still have a little part we haven't covered on the way back. But this is an easy hike. Kind of bland for the scenery, although it is beautiful and it's very fresh out here and refreshing. It was pretty quiet. The other guy that passed us, he's probably an introvert like myself. For the most part I am, so he's probably enjoying the peace and quiet. But it's not good to make assumptions. When you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. I've been told. I do kind of feel like I'm getting a headache. My blood pressure's been pretty high. Last night when I was laying down to go to sleep, I could just heard my heart beating in my ear. like the telltale heart. It was pretty rough. That's mainly because I had to wear earplugs when I sleep at my current home, which I'm about to move out of, because I'm sandwiched by a bunch of other people. That's what they look like on the outside anyways. They look like people. Oh, it's just a nice cool breeze right now. So tonight I'm gonna have pasta primavera, freeze-dried food, Mountain House, and 4 King's rolls, Hawaiian King's rolls. And I got some autumn mixed jelly beans for dessert. I also have some spicy cinnamon jelly beans in case I want to pivot or I run out the other ones. I do have a backup peppermint bonbon ice cream sandwich freeze-dried in the backup food backpack as well in the trunk. The Brule River, Grand Marais, Minnesota. Judge C.R. Magney State Park. Now there is another state park about 30 minutes north of here, and it's Grand Portage State Park, and it's like literally right on the Canadian border, like you're right there. You cannot camp there though, and it looks like it's a relatively small state park. There's a hiking trail there that looks pretty interesting to me. That might be a kind of a quicker hike, like the one at Charles A. Lindbergh State Park, Little Elk area, which is kind of far away from the main park. That was kind of weird how it was like its own little island of land farther away, like 5 miles north or something. I had a hard time finding it too. But I might try that hike at Grand Portage State Park someday. I was pondering doing it tomorrow, but I'm going to be asking for too much with the 3 scouts as it is. I've never been there before. So I'm not going to get too greedy. I got to make sure I polish those off. Then I'll have the whole North Shore scouted and all the state parks camped. And I might come back one day and camp at the state forest campgrounds. But given the exponential rate of my floaters, that might not be feasible. I'm kind of inspired to give a special shout out to my girlfriend, who I haven't seen since 1997. So, oh well. Oh God, the painful truths in life sometimes. Oh God. You find the one, and then 6 months later, life happens. All right, so now we're gonna go around this way. We came from here, we're gonna go this way. See what the hype's all about. You know, next week I have a planned camp at Lake Shetek State Park. And it's at a karting campsite that I wasn't aware existed. And it's all by its lonely, kind of near a group camp. But I'm really intrigued to check that one out. That's in southwestern Minnesota. I believe it's in Curry, Minnesota. Kind of by where Laura Ingalls Wilder grew up, if she existed. At least that area of the state. It's kind of neat. So it's there. I'm probably going to do a scout of that campsite before I inhabit it. And then I'm going to have enough daylight set up my cold weather kit on my light fighter tent. Show how that's assembled. And that's to prepare me for the winter months. Same tent, just an added layer of fabric to it and a bigger sack to put it in to fit the volume. Everything else is the same. Just an extra layer of fabric between the rain fly and the tent, the mesh of the tent. It's impressive how effective that is just by itself. It really goes a long way in kind of keeping the atmosphere, the elements outside at bay, the wind down. Probably a 10, maybe 20 degree difference. I might be exaggerating, I haven't really tested scientifically, but it seems like it. I'd probably say 10 degrees for sure, given the amount of wind it mitigates. I wish it went all the way down though, like it fully covered the bottom part of the mesh. But then if you do that, you lose ventilation. And if you don't have ventilation, you have condensation, which you usually have no matter what. In the winter though, it can get a little crazy. So everything just gets wet on the inside of the tent just from breathing. So you don't want it fully enclosed because you'll just get wet and then you'll freeze. Really muddy here. Ooh. Christening my boots some more. I'm gonna try to make these boots last till 2027 if I can, and then retire them while they're still pretty good and use them as a backup. It's kind of what I do. I don't really throw my boots out. I just retire them after I've used them for a while, and then make sure they're still effective, of course, and then use them as backups if I ever need them, rather than just let them fully wear out and buying a fresh pair and having to break in the fresh pair. You know, it's more of a planned transition from new boot to old boot, or old boot to new boot, and reboot. That's kind of cool here. wood is really slippery. So make a note of that if you come here. Watch out. There's a lot of leaves here though to mitigate the slipperiness. But I wouldn't be shocked if a lot of people just totally slipped and fell on their back on this. Kind of an ominous vibe. Kind of muddy and it's an incline. Things are growing in pretty tall here, so we're kind of closed in. This is a trail. Yeah, I like this side better. Though you can't hear the Brule River on this side. I wish I could camp out here tonight. But there's really no area for a tent, and fire would probably be out of the question. Starting to hear water over here. That's that creek or that stream that we crossed earlier. So we are approaching it. Gauthier Creek. I think that's what that means. Creek, C-R. Gauthier Creek. That's the name of that water. You know, I camped by a creek at Fort Ridgely State Park last year, and the sound of that water, it's almost like an audio stereogram where your mind starts forming sounds. It's like a probability field of sound, and you can start hearing things like voices and stuff like that. Really interesting. A stereogram is one of those pictures that it's like a bunch of dots or pixels, and you stare at it and then a 3D image will pop out at you out of nowhere. It's like an audio version of that, I found, for me. I'm starting to hear things pop into my ears. So if you're by a stream and you start hearing weird things, it's probably got something to do with that. So even though you don't have the sound of the Brule River on this side of the trail, you have the sound of the Gauthier Creek over here. Looks like a birch, that tall up high, but it doesn't look like a birch down here. Still not really good at identifying trees though. Looks like some kind of man-made structure here. Like they're kind of damming it up a little. But it's starting to cool down a lot. So now the sweat on my chest and my back from the chest rig and the backpack gonna start getting cold. But I'm walking pretty slowly. I sweat no matter what though, so I could stand still, sit still, lie down, and I'd still be sweating to a certain extent. I probably sweat more than the average person, I would say. 'Cause I don't really see people struggling in similar ways with sweat like I do, like with my feet. And when I hear people talk about it, like who go hiking and stuff, So we were walking parallel to the Superior hiking trail. Now we're veering away from it. We're gonna curve around and meet back up where we started when we went around the other side. I really like the approach, the design on this, how they did it. I haven't seen one like this. I like the edges. Still pretty slippery, so you gotta be really careful. Really like how it winds around. So after my camp next week at Lake Chetek State Park, a week from then is going to be Halloween, and there I got one planned at Big Bog State Recreation Area. That'll be my first time at a state rec area camping. That's in the Red Lake Nation. I had a buddy who was from there, from that Red Lake area. That's where his home was. So it's kind of cool. Get to go check it out finally, that area of the state. I'm gonna see if I can scout the Big Bog campground and maybe check out the boardwalk, do a hike on the boardwalk or the bog walk. And I heard a rumor that I heard a scary story told about that place, that there's a witch. But unfortunately, almost every scary story you ever hear is a big fat lie, just to get attention. But I'll try to pretend that it might be real. You probably didn't hear that, but I heard that before several times, and I don't know what it is. It's like somebody dropping a huge bowling ball that bounces, and it slowly bounces quicker as it slowly stops. Boom, 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 boom. Very curious. It's got to be some kind of animal hitting a tree or something. It sounds like it's hitting the ground. I'm gonna use this word ominous. It has an ominous vibe to it. Like it's far away, yet it's close. And it sounds like it's really big. Like it could be coming from miles away, or 100 yards away. is really strange. I think I was in Itasca County scouting the, I think it's Bear Lake Campground. Yeah, I believe that's George Washington State Forest, one of the 6, when I last heard that sound. I should probably pick up the pace, because then we can definitely do that timber doodle loop on the way back. You can see my mania seemed to die down a bit, thankfully. Probably won't be as snarky. All right, we're back here. Okay, so we went and checked all this out. This was a cool spot right in here. That was my favorite spot. And I like this part in here too. And the creek along here. And there's no stairs on any of these trails over on this side of the park. Try to cross back over the way I came last time. I don't have good balance. I was never good on a skateboard, and I fall off bikes all the time when I ride them. You gotta test the rock before you get on it. Make sure it's not wiggling too much. That red one's a sketchy one, but the other ones are okay. I'm gonna actually go over here this time. Those branches broke off when I grabbed it, so be really careful. Right. I feel a little bad now because of a sensitive resource. That thing just came right off. There's nothing to it. Still got some sap on the hand. Smells really good. So we're going to test the rock. That's solid. Make sure it's not slippery too. I'm just going to go for a jump. There's a spot over here. Ooh, that's not too bad. I don't want to risk the phone with the higher quality because I am a klutz. I got a move coming up this month, so it would not be a good time to lose my phone. I feel pretty safe right here though. I'll try panel, see what happens. Yeah, not too bad. A little risky for me. Gauthier Creek. A little risky, yet reasonable. Okay. All right, now we're backtracking. I'm gonna pick up the pace on the way back. We are losing daylight. We still have about an hour though. A little less than an hour until it gets fairly dark. Superior hiking trail again. Ooh. Oh, it looks like this is a connector to the other part of that trail as well. I'm fighting off a headache. It's probably got something to do with a little bit of dehydration, maybe. Looks like there's hair on this branch. That might be thorns from it. It definitely got some sap on my hand. Just kind of smelling it, sniffing it, which is a little creepy to sniff your hands, but it smells really good. I'll try to refrain from that when I am near other people. It's pretty sticky too. Got them rocks, so you gotta test them, make sure they're not wiggling too much or moving around too much, and make sure they're not slippery. You always gotta check them first. And then like that branch that I grabbed, it wasn't really a branch, it was something that was in the ground like this. I grabbed it like this to kind of just to barely hold it, and it just came right off. If I didn't test that, which I kind of didn't, but if I really relied on it and just grabbed it and I needed it, I would have been screwed. That thing came right off. Oh. That's a pretty good hike. Had a lot of rhetoric I had to get off my chest. Things just get real stressful just surrounded by people in the city all day. Everyone's in a rush or everyone's too slow. I just feel like I'm always bumping heads. And never in a good way, you know. Just you remove your head from one head that you bumped, then you immediately turn into another head, and then you lock horns, and you just can't get away from it. Oh. But it is good to make a little sound, so the rhetoric deters bears, and it's cathartic. Ah. I can learn from it too when I'm editing, so I can try to learn to let stuff go and move on, become a better person, whatever that is, whatever that looks and sounds like. Oh. All the wood here, like the benches and the we're trying to identify this with the Merlin bird ID. Oh, hairy woodpecker. Interesting. quieted down when it knew I was listening to it, as expected. Oh, flying away. Oh, there he is. There's another one. When I say he's flying away, there's another one right there, like he didn't fly away. That's what I'm talking about. I just can't, it don't matter what I do, I just can't win. I'm always looking at something wrong or making the wrong judgment. But that's okay. It isn't, but it is. I want to be perfect. You know, if this life is a simulation, there's a really good chance that we literally are perfect. And it's so boring and dreadful that we created this reality to inhabit with all of its woes and its imperfections to give us joy, and I guess you gotta have pain to experience joy. So I guess the important thing is just keep on the journey. Just keep plugging on. Whatever the circumstance, just keep plugging. Don't just stick your head in the sand and just focus on where you're at. Just keep moving forward. It sucks because sometimes you're in such a good spot. Moving forward to mean in life would suck more. So you don't want to move forward. So you stay in the spot that you're in because it's good. You might live in a nice home, or you got a good job or something, whatever it is. But if the chips are down and things aren't good, moving forward it's essential, but it might even be easier because you only have something good to look forward to. Whereas if you already have a lot of good to look forward to in your life, you might not want to travel out of that. There's a lot of homes on Lake Superior, and I'm just kind of like, oh, that might be nice. But then you think about all the potential woes associated with it, like the repairs, improvements, traffic, ordinances or whatever, inspections. It might be worse than actually not even having a home on Lake Superior than having one. But it all depends, I guess. I guess it depends where it's at, really. There was one house I passed that said sold, and it looked like a good one, and it looked like it probably wasn't that expensive, but it was right on 61. So you're going to be hearing like trucks and cars all the time, and some people like that. But you could probably feel the rumbling of big trucks. I lived at a place once where I felt the rumble. Even I was in the upper, like the attic of the home. A big truck drove by, to feel the rumble. It's just not really a welcome moment. You know, I don't want to be antagonized by a rumble from out of nowhere all the time. It's literally like a micro earthquake. Might happen once every hour or so. Yeah, so when I get back to camp, I'm probably gonna put on the rain over pants. Oh, picking up what I was gonna say when I saw that bench earlier. All the all the benches are kind of wet and slimy from the rain earlier, so I'm gonna put on my rain over pants so I can sit on the picnic bench when I'm back at camp. And I'm just gonna keep them on because it's gonna get chilly, and that'll serve as a protective shell layer on my legs. I'll probably put on that base hoodie too. You know, my tank is a little wet on the front and the back. It dries off pretty quick as long as it's attached to my body. So it's like the body heat helps dissipate the moisture. I might try to let it dry out a little bit before I put on the hoodie. I'll probably wait till I'm getting kind of cold just to dry out that tank as much as possible before putting the hoodie over it. And it should be dry enough to the point where all the rest of the moisture in it should be absorbed out, wicked away by the base layer, the merino wool hoodie, and it'll just dry. Usually that's the case. If it's a really hot day and I'm really wet from the sweat, even then the tank seems to dry out maybe after a couple hours. So while I'm in camp, it'll dry out before I actually lay down and go to sleep later. But when it gets colder out and you need to put on some warmer layer on top of it, you want to make sure it's pretty dry. So if it's too wet, and I know it won't dry out in time because it's so wet, I'll replace it with another tank. And I did that recently. I can't remember where. I've had so many hikes this year, I can't recall which one it was. But I had one at Forestville actually where it was raining and my rain over gear failed me. I think it's because the inner seam tape fell off like it always does. So that one, my tank got soaked literally from the outside and the inside. I think that was the one where I switched it because it was just overwhelmed. Alright, we're almost back. I probably should wrap it up. Timberdoodle is less than a mile. It says it's an interpretive trail, but I'll tell you what, we're gonna negotiate. We're gonna hike that trail, but I'm not gonna focus on any of the interpretive literature. I'm just gonna keep moving. So just leave that a mystery. You know, I probably should wrap it up though, actually. It is getting dim. Yeah, we're gonna do that. I don't want to get back to camp when it's too dark, so. Alright, sorry. I take it back. So we're gonna wind it down now. Oh. So this is the probably the lesser hike trail at Judge C.R. Magney State Park. in Grand Marais, Minnesota. It's about 30 minutes south of the Canadian border. And if we stop having Canadian wildfires every year and being smothered to death by the smoke from it, I'll slowly gain respect again for Canadians. Okay? But if I'm choking to death once a week next year too, not good. Canadians should be pros at managing forestry situations. They should be absolute pros at it. So I think there's something else going on, but that's just me being paranoid. But they're supposedly pros at maple syrup too, but Vermont seems to kick their ass at that too, so. Now, if you can't beat the competition, smoke them out, right? Too bad that'll fail too. So. All right. Well, thanks for taking a look. Take care. I wonder if that NPC is still doing laps. He was really interested in me. That was weird. That's convenient. Now we could check this out real quick too if you're still here. Why not? Hikers should make noise while walking. Check. I think I was in here when I did a scout. Yeah, I was. Not bad. Ah. Good. Not bad. I think Stinkleberry Farmer was here. You're doing good. Well, I timed that pretty good, huh? Oh, they're back. I wonder if Site 20 will be occupied. Not bad. Not bad at all. When I make that voice, I always envision like a marionette puppet. Like I think his name's Slappy from Goosebumps. Not bad at all. Kind of bad. Not too bad. Pretty bad. This is like the different modalities of grading a vault toilet during the scouts. Side 20, man. See, a little close here, a little close, but 21, but man, not bad, man.